Welcome to Syntax. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Front End Happy Hour podcast.
Welcome to this week's JS Party.
Live from Shipshape Studios, this is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot, with your hosts, Robbie the Wagner and me, Charles William Carpenter III.
That's right, Charles. We drink whiskey and talk about web development. I mean, it's all in the name. It's not that deep.
This is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot. Do not adjust your set.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We've got a special episode today. You might be familiar with this show as Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot. We are going to be very heavy on the whiskey side today and less on the web, possibly still some whatnot. We shall see.
I'm only here for the whatnot, so...
Just wanted to have a disclaimer. If you're looking for a lot of tech content, this one's not for you. But if you're into whiskey, definitely stick around. We got a lot of cool insights from our special guest today, Clint. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing today? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, doing well. Thanks for coming on. Yeah. Can you please tell the folks at home, give them a few sentences about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Clint Spotleson, otherwise known as Spotty around the bar world, but so feel free to use that if you want to. I am the Global Advocacy Manager for Sagamore Rye Whiskey. And I help run trade advocacy for the rest of the Corona portfolio in the U.S. So,
oh, very sweet.
Nice.
Which we're part of.
Well, any of our regular listeners know why you're here because we're big fans of the Sagamore brand. We've been evangelizing it for years. It's always kind of our baseline go-to when we're doing ratings against other ryes and sometimes other whiskeys in general.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. I know you kind of led it off with it when we were talking previous. So, really happy to get to go a little bit deeper and kind of fill in any blanks or any questions or just tell a couple really fun stories today.
Yeah.
A bunch of whatnots. Yeah. I'm actually not here for the whiskey either. So just here for the whatnots.
Yeah. It turns out you know about it. So, there is that aspect.
Well, we will at least drink the whiskey. We have this fancy, I don't know if this is focused or not. There we go.
There it is.
It looks like it's all right.
I was expecting just a sample, so I was pleasantly surprised to receive this. Thank you very much. This is a Manhattan Finish, and usually we have notes about the whiskey, but I figured you would know a lot about it, so I'm going to let you tell the folks what the whiskey is.
No, so first things first, I was going to just send a sample bottle originally, and my Amazon order for the bottles got lost, so I had to think on the fly, and you're welcome.
So thank you, Amazon, for being slow.
It wasn't slow. It actually got left in a weird location, and somebody took the package. So,
oh wow!
Okay. Yeah, so I couldn't replace it in time. So I had to think fast. And the weird part was I shipped this Monday. Today's Wednesday?
Yeah.
I shipped it Monday morning.
That's pretty solid.
And so when you got it Tuesday morning, I was pretty amazed. It was like, wow, overnight, really.
This is a shout out to FedEx.
No, this is actually USPS.
USPS.
Whoa!
Yeah. FedEx actually promised a later date than the post office did.
Which is very strange. This is Well, I want to regress for 1 second, and we have to have a little special shout out to the only time that I've ever heard Robbie say, "Thank you, Amazon." He's a former employee, current, right? Yeah, so he's a former/current employee. I don't even know the time.
Hey, I'm there until Friday.
I don't know.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
I left voluntarily. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah, it's like, weird times we're in, so that's
you never know.
Worthwhile noting. Did we talk about the whiskey stuff?
No, we have not.
Let's
definitely
cover that first.
So this is our Manhattan Finish. One of my favorites. This is actually, I think, of all the barrelings I've tried, especially stuff we've done the last couple of years, this is probably my favorite bottle we have. So that's why I want to talk about this one today. It's our base. Our base juice that we always do the same thing, the high rye, low rye, separated, for distillation, blended together, bottling. But this one we blended together, and Ryan Norwood, our master distiller, decided he likes to get playful at times. And so he had a really kind of funky idea and went with it. So it's not what a lot of people think, where they think this was, like a Manhattan cocktail was done in a barrel and then finished that way. Picture a pizza pie.
Okay.
So what we did was we took this 8-slice pizza pie, and we put roughly, 5 of the slices into sweet vermouth barrels. We put 2 of the slices into cherry brandy barrels. And then the very last slice we put into a regional whiskey aged bitters barrel that, if you know anything about bitters in the US, that's the one brand, especially tasting it. If you know it, you can figure out pretty quick. We don't have a name on the sweet vermouth, but what we did was we aged them all and then built a Manhattan out of it. So
that's kind of cool.
Components of it.
So it's a deconstruction of a Manhattan flavor profile and done in that way and then put back together at bottling. That's actually pretty clever. That's some like Jose Andreas, like kind of clever stuff.
Yeah. Gives you a
Ryan
lot more
definitely got
control.
Yeah, so it was, and obviously the aging changes all across the board because you're gonna have those bitter barrels. I mean, they will impart flavor in days. They'll just
it takes like nothing.
Yeah, nothing at all to get those going. The cherry brandy, you'll pick it up, and the cool thing is you actually see each flavor as you go through it.
Yeah,
but the sweet vermouth definitely takes some time. They've been sitting for a while, larger barrels, so it takes a little longer to extrapolate that flavor. So
yeah, it's almost syrupy, more syrupy in that way.
Yeah, I'm getting strong smell of. Yeah, the cherry is strong. It's like specifically for me, it's like a cherry sweet tart smell.
Ooh,
like,
yeah, almost a little bit of that like sour, like in the smell on the nose.
I've always felt like one of the big on the nose, one of the big palates you find with Sagamore, it tends to be like a cherry cola.
Yeah,
and I think that gets accentuated heavily in this whiskey.
Nice. Robbie didn't mention enjoying this from our norlandglass.com glasses.
Yeah,
those are great glasses.
Norland glasses from norlandglass.com.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're pretty cool because they're a Glencairn and they're double walled, and so your fingers don't warm it up if you're like super nerdy like that. I like to pretend that I am, but it's all a farce.
Oh, this is fun. So what was that sponsor one more time?
Norland Glass.
Norland Glass. I'll probably shoot a text to find out afterwards.
Yeah,
I really like
no
these.
worries
So cool.
there. Yeah, he's got the clear one. I get the blackout ones. I don't know.
Almost like the blackout ones because you can hide how much is in the glass.
Mm-hmm.
If you got family around, they don't know how much you're actually drinking.
You absolutely just called out why I got the blackout ones, and I didn't want to be perceived as an alcoholic, but most people know that that's absolutely true. But yeah, I don't want my wife to know how much is going in here.
I mean,
right?
I would say this maybe holds a drink tops. It's like maybe one pour.
This is
definitely it's a very shallow.
Yeah, if you put it to just about the top, you're looking at 2.5 ounces.
Yeah. This falls under whatnots right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything is one pour if you don't stop pouring.
So. Exactly, that's true. This is very smooth, very tasty.
One of my all-time favorites with us by far.
I mean, thank you for bringing the bottle over because. I think you're taking that one back though.
We'll see. I might believe it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. We'll see how much we get in here first. So definitely get a lot of cherry cola initially. Mm-hmm. I mean, I gotta say, I've had plenty of barrel aged Manhattans, and nothing's really like blown me away more than just a cocktail mixed one per se. But this, I think this is good. This is very interesting. This is like would have, although hard to get. So
yeah. So this one was one that we were doing annual for a while. And we've recently pivoted with the brand, and we're going to start pulling back a little bit on a lot of these limited releases. We're going to still feature them at the distillery. So if you're in Baltimore, always check out the distillery tours. We do tours Wednesday through Sunday, but in our gift shop, we'll have a lot of fun stuff like this. Yeah. Right now is just, I think we've realized as we've been growing that we need to put a huge focus on the core three within the family. So we're going to push heavier on those, and this will probably be, I think Manhattan we've talked about maybe once every 2 years still releasing. Yeah. To a pretty decent, which gives us some time to experiment a little bit more too. So
I don't know if you have any more flavors to add, Robbie, or
I've been very influenced by the cherry cola. I am getting a lot of cola.
It has a ton of like a cherry Pepsi or like not like cherry Coke per se, because I feel like that always has a lot of high acidity. This definitely has more syrup.
Did you guys ever have that? I think it was by Pepsi. It was like 1889 or something. It was like they're like old school.
I don't think I ever tried it though. Yeah.
No.
It was like actually made from just like cola nut and like seltzer water or something, like, old school cola would have been. And this tastes a lot like that. Like, the actual cola flavor is not the new like corn syrupy. Like it's not like more like old school cola, I would say.
No cocaine though, right? Unfortunately,
not anymore. I mean, I think a lot of people did that back in the day. But
a little extra, little throwback.
Give you your pep you needed.
Yeah, exactly. Caffeine just doesn't cut it for me anymore. So that's baselining. I'm trying to go next level. All right. So this is the part where we do a rating. We have a highly technical rating scale from 0 to 8 tentacles. We start at 0 because we're software people and we think we're funny. 0 is obviously terrible. 4, middle of the road. 8, clear the shelves. We do try to like kind of categorize though and segment often. And so this maybe is in around like with flavored whiskeys or something. I don't know. Finished or flavored whiskeys. It's still the rye. But I don't know. I would say when we
pitch it out, it's definitely still considered a rye because it's just picking up. It's the same thing as doing a like a port barrel finish, anything like that. It just happens to be 3 really unique barrels being used for it. So
that's a fair point. So we'll consider it like that. I'm going to put Robbie on the spot and make him go first.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that I love all Sagamore products. I haven't found one that I don't like yet. I would kind of describe Sagamore similar to like Buffalo Trace in that it's like very approachable and not insanely expensive, but like just like you basically can't get anything anywhere close to this good for the price. This one is no exception to me. I hesitate to give anything an 8, but like
you don't have pressure.
Yeah.
There's no pressure at all. So I'm staring at the screen.
Yeah. I think I'm feeling a 7. It's very good. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I just never really give much an 8.
That's fair.
Yeah.
In that same vein, I do have one question. What's MSRP on this?
When we had it on shelves, when you can find it, and again, I'm more on the marketing side, so sales kind of hit or miss on that. I would say you can find it anywhere on shelves from, I've seen it as low as 45, I've seen it up to 70. So it kind of is in that mix. It's looked as an LTO. I mean, we had a lot of volume early on, and I think now that because we were, like I said, originally we were planning on keeping it as a regular part of the rotation. Now that we've pulled it back, you're starting to see the prices skyrocket a little bit more and people picking it up. I mean, I think for us, the local liquor store right down the street here that we both talk about a lot, Trevor's, I don't even think they have it anymore, if I recall. I think they've actually sold out now. So
that would make sense. That place goes through a lot of volume.
Oh, yeah.
So
like 2 barrels with them in like 3 or 4 months, I think already. It's
What would you give it on our 0 to 8 scale for you?
For me, I mean, for the whole family, this is, like I said, this is one of my favorites. This is a hard one because you're asking me to pick a favorite child right now.
Yeah.
Which is never great.
Yeah.
This one I think is kind of the creative one. Excels well, in school. Not the best athlete in the family, but creative, can probably do something great in life.
Yeah.
I would say this one would be in my mid 7s somewhere, probably like a 7.5, just because it is one of my favorites in the portfolio. And I mean, I've had a chance to try some stuff that we can't even pull. So
yeah,
there's 1 or 2 in there. There's one whiskey in our entire portfolio that was a mistake that got done and bottled years ago, and that's like, to me, the holy grail of our lineup.
Yep.
But from there, that was a Sauvignon Blanc finish. That was an accident.
Oh wow.
Which sounds crazy because every Sauvignon Blanc whiskey I've ever had was horrible.
Yeah,
this one was absolutely unbelievable. Like, it somehow just worked. So
okay, yeah. So look for that one somewhere randomly.
If you find a bottle of that, we'll put my Instagram up on the screen or something like that.
Yeah.
Find me. It's The Only Spotty. Tell me where it's at. I will buy it off you because that is, I think, the only bottles left in existence that I know of are at the distillery themselves and not for sale. Like, legitimately
I was going
on
to say,
shelves.
you'd almost see where like that maybe didn't make it across the Mississippi.
It was it's actually a fun story. So Ryan got a bunch of barrels. There's a local whiskey, local winemaker that we grab barrels from. We'll play around with every now and then. And he thought they were all Cabernet Sauvignon. So we started putting whiskey into them, and 2 of them were actually Sauvignon Blanc. Didn't realize it till months later when he was looking at the barrels going, wait a minute, why does that say Sauvignon Blanc? Oops. And pulled it, and it was, so we only had 2 barrels.
Yeah. Oof.
And it was unbelievable.
It's interesting because I still want to slightly categorize this into like a cocktailed whiskey. So delicious for a rye, delicious for if you put it in the context of a barrel aged cocktail even. Like, I would definitely rather have this. Mm-hmm. If I found it for $40 or $50, I'd clear the shelves. So I try to add, I even think at 70, it's a good buy. Yeah. So no problem there. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Nice.
I think it's like great. And I think that's only because, like Robbie, I don't know. It's hard for me to say anything is an 8. Is anything perfect? Yeah. I haven't had everything. So it's hard for me to know. But this is great. It's delicious.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've only done like 2 or 3 8s. One of which being our Sagamore barrel pick, because my palate is just so good.
Choose but
that should be perfect. If you picked it, it should be the perfect one. So.
Yeah.
You mean this bottle?
Yeah, my last bottle, by the way, I have brought on set.
I saw the back
so that we could, and so that we could do a little crack and try it out.
Comparison?
Yeah. I'm not going to take this overseas. I don't know if you know. Well, my house is for sale.
Okay.
And family's moving overseas in the summer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So can't take the booze with me. So whatever.
Where are you moving to?
Italy.
Oh, fantastic.
Andiamo.
We can maybe ship some of this to you since, Sagamore is part of the Di Serrano family, and we're based out of Italy. So
true.
Just saying, something to think about.
That's you bring a tear to a
this
guy's
was
eye.
this was a change in the last 2 years when we sold to them. So
Yeah.
we are technically Italian owned.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. Why?
I imagine there's not a lot of rye in Italy.
that's what we're here to fix. So.
Yeah. I mean, so I was there last summer working, and we recorded 1 or 2 episodes while I was over there, so I could kind of try it out on the fly. And there are some like specialty stores in Milan and stuff like that where you can get more stuff. I'll be in Como, so about 40 minutes north. You know, and then you're just like, yeah, there's a couple of liquor stores, but most of the time you're just buying from the grocery store. And you got to say the choices aren't great, and they lean heavily to Scotch because that's closer regionally and all of that. So, yeah, I can't recall seeing a rye at all. There was like a couple of bourbons, and then you have your like Jack Daniels or whatever.
We'll see what we can. We'll see what we can do.
All right, I appreciate it. Official, unofficial sponsorship of the show.
I mean, it's great that Como too. I mean, you're not too far from where we're based. We're a Piedmont-based company. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's cool.
That's awesome.
The more you know. Ding ding ding.
Speaking of the more you know and ryes, I'm curious because, we know Sagamore is a Maryland style rye, and there are potentially, I don't know what other kind of styles. Tell us a little bit about the Maryland style and like what that compares to. Like, what are the other styles and how's it different?
This is going to get we're going to get very heavy into history here for a few minutes. So, which is something I love talking about. So we're turning this into a history podcast as well, too.
Sure.
Historically, when you look at rye whiskey, there was 2 major areas that kind of started out, Pennsylvania and Maryland. The big difference between the two was when you look at old growing patterns throughout the U.S., corn, this is the non-GMO days. So we're going back 1700s, probably about 30 years before the Revolutionary War. Corn grew about as far north as Maryland. And so the early distillers there would actually add corn into the recipe. Just because they liked the sweetness it gave it, rounded it out a little bit more. Whereas when you get right on the other side towards Pennsylvania, it was too far north. And so you have more of that Monongahela style rye, which is a big, heavy rye. You know, it's majority of it is rye within the glass. This can be a little bit spicier. And that's kind of your big differentials between the two. You know, distillation comes into play. I mean, Baltimore itself was founded by Lord Calvert. He was first man which he brought Irish Catholic immigrants into Baltimore. And that was a lot of the early cities in the U.S. were founded as, different religious communes. So Irish Catholic in particular for Baltimore greater. And that was the idea with that. Why that's so important to our process is the Irish tend to do triple distillation.
Yeah.
And so we triple distill a lot of it based on that idea. Whereas when you look at Pennsylvania whiskeys, a lot of those were Dutch settlements.
Yeah.
And the Dutch, were more influenced on that double distillation style. So you wouldn't see as many times through. It's the practice we still use today. And that's kind of your big differential. It's just that corn added to it. It will always be a higher percentage. That's why we do the double mash bill.
Yeah.
So we can actually control that. So we do a high rye, which is that kind of traditional, I always jokingly call it the MGP special, the 95.5, which they popularized. And then we have a lower rye, which we do 52% rye, 43% corn, 5% malted barley.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's our doubles there. We ferment, distill everything separate, and then we age separately and blend at bottling, or in the case of some of these finishes, we blend and then we'll do the secondary finishes in the blended product. So
I did not realize. I had no idea there was corn in the mash bill and the way that worked out. So that's super cool. And that's interesting for Robbie because since we started the show, he'd always been more on the rye side. I think I had been more on the bourbon side because I'm from Kentucky, and I don't know, it was just what I was used to. And I like some ryes, but like it's kind of why we've sort of like pitched our flag here on Sagamore, not just because you're here, but because we both have been like, we love it. We love it neat. Mm-hmm. It's super approachable. For me, I'm just like, you got all the taters out there chasing crap just to put on shelves and show off as trophies. And I believe Robbie also is, we want to drink. We want to enjoy drinks. We enjoy like the social aspect of having spirits. We both have just been deep into whiskey for a long time, and whiskey is just part of sharing and fun and all of that. Like I said, here's the last one of this bottle that I have. I have no problem cracking it, and it's just another experience and another moment. So,
I have like 20 left, so
I also know that, so I'm not too bothered. It's like
we'll find ways to get them around.
If I need one, I know where to get one. So So it's awesome to like. That's a fact that I didn't realize that like that's how we kind of agreed and met together on certain on this flavor profile.
For a rye fan and a bourbon fan, this is the perfect bottle to share. It's going to have the spiciness from rye that you expect, and it is definitely still rye focused. I mean, I did the full math on it, and it's still in the 80 percentile for rye when you combine everything and how much we use of each barrel.
Yeah.
So, but there is enough corn in to lighten it, sweeten it up a little bit more, and kind of make it very approachable with that. I do love what you had to say about sharing. That's a very Kentucky thing. Been fortunate enough in my career to work with a lot of different distilleries. My bartending days, I spent a lot of time traveling between them. And a big pattern I always saw between, like, you know, Jimmy and Eddie Russell and Fred No and all these big names was that's their thing. They do not believe in collecting.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't make this to sit on a shelf for 30 years. I made it to open the day it's in a bottle. So let's go. Let's drink it. So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's just kind of, yeah. So, you know, whiskey culture is a little weird like that in that you have folks who are drinkers, tasters, they're like on that side of thing. You have collectors who are sort of chasing the high of getting something allocated. And because of that, more things become allocated. We know that affects a lot of like pricing models. And I think that's why I'm more sensitive to the price of releases. Now, Sagamore's been around for a little while, so it's not like they are a 5-year distillery testing the market with $70 bottles. Like that, I just think is like, it's rough. It's rough if like, especially if you're sourcing and you come out of the gate that way.
Like everywhere in New York, they're like 2 years aged. Here you go.
Yeah,
I'm like,
$80.
what is this?
You know?
It's a big part of our company ethos too. We don't want to make whiskeys that are going to be $200, $300. I mean, 30 years from now,
Who
if
knows?
we have a 25-year sitting around, who knows? You know, maybe at that point we'll consider it. But I mean, case in point, I know you guys have done the cask strength in the past.
Yeah.
So we are making some changes to that this year. Very exciting changes. It's bottled now. It's ready to ship. We are now 100% Maryland made on that one. As you know, we could dive into this a little bit more. We did start as MGP, but in 2017, we switched over, started producing our own. The cask strength was the one that was obviously our longest age statement in our core 3. And we are officially now, everything bottled is going to be Maryland made. It's 123 proof now. And it hits the shelves.
That's hot.
Should be hitting the shelves starting next month. So it is phenomenal.
Okay.
But the great thing about it is we will age statement that one as guaranteed 7 years.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, there might be some 8-year juice in it, but it'll be a minimum 7-year.
Yep.
And it is a fraction of the price compared to what you see a lot of 7-years sitting on shelves for.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I had no shade for you on it being MGP juice at first. You know, you do what you do to kind of get it off the ground as you're, doing your own stuff too. But it was also like $35 on the shelf. First time I went to grab a Sagamore bottle, it was like $35. So it's like, sure, that's like baby Saz and all of that too. Yeah. So it's normal. That's a normal price.
It's a whiskey that we want to, the quality we look at as, our comparisons are like a Whistle Pig, a Michter's, things like that.
Yep.
But not at that price point. So
right.
Yeah. Plus the bottle is way cooler. Like the first time I bought it, I was just like, this bottle's different. I'll buy this. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, I think the marketing and the, production are all top notch.
It's a beautiful bottle. It's actually based off an old Baltimore distillery, Rieger & Co. Back in the early 1900s. Their bottle was that 6 shape. A little bit different. We obviously have Sagamore on the sides. There's Baltimore, Maryland on the sides. So it's a little homage to Baltimore. Pretty much everything in our bottle has little homages to the brand. Whether it's Lord Calvert's coat of arms on the necker, the 1909, which I brought up on the bottle, that eventually will be going away. But 1909, if you've ever noticed, right here on both sides, it was actually the year our spring house is founded. We take all of our water from Sagamore Farms, which is roughly about a half hour outside of downtown Baltimore, Ricer Town, and we literally pump it, truck it straight down there. It's consistently in the low 50s, 52 to 54, depending on who you ask. We like to say it's 54, but famous Baltimore Ravens star Ray Lewis, who was number 52, came to the farm once, went into the still house, found out it was 54, and disagreed with us, said it was 52. He says anything, it goes. He's he's pretty intimidating still. So
yeah, you're like I'm
retired
good
for
with that.
10 years, and he's still like, I'm like, if he hit me, I'd be knocked cold. So
right. Well, let's hope he's calmed down a little bit. Yeah, and there's a famous hotel in Baltimore too called the Sagamore. Yeah, we have some friends. One of my wife's best friends used to work for the hotel group that ran that, amongst others. So,
Pendry.
Yep.
There we go. And that's actually our original founder, Kevin Plank, who started this as a side project 2013. For those that don't know, Kevin Plank is actually also the founder of Under Armour.
Okay.
But he never wanted to he kind of distanced the two apart from each other.
Yeah.
Main reason being athletes and whiskey don't always go that well together.
Yeah.
So It's understandable, but he's been big in the Baltimore and the reclamation of Baltimore and rebuilding it. So he actually owns stake in the hotel where our distillery is based. He actually owns all the land around it. Is where the Baltimore Sun newspaper's office was, but other than that, it was kind of just a rundown area, not much going on, and it's now probably the nicest part of Baltimore, I'd say. I mean, everything's brand new, rebuilt, with the exception of Nick's, which is a very famous crab shack right on the water right there.
Yes.
The corporate offices now for Under Armour. Their stadium, where if you've ever seen like this year, the All-American high school football game, they actually played at that stadium. And then our distillery and a couple hotels. So we're right on the waterfront. It's absolutely beautiful. He's done a lot to help out. And, it was when he left with the brand, he still has a small stake in it, but, we're majority Di Serrano now. It's still kind of one of those things that we've been able to kind of keep utilizing a lot of the elements of that Sagamore. I mean, I think every piece of clothing I have that's Sagamore branded is Under Armour, so it makes for a very soft t-shirt, so I'm very happy about that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Actually, inadvertently, Robbie and I are wearing the same t-shirt today.
This is not the same one, actually. You can't tell because it's so dark in here.
It's so dark on your thing. So
this is the blue one. You have the Viore on,
yeah,
right?
I have the Viore one because I thought, and I'm right, and maybe I should have let you know, it's going to get warm in this little room where we're recording when you have everything on and lights on you and all of that. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to sweat a little possibly.
A little sweat.
It's
light. It's easy. Viore is always nice, though.
Yeah.
They make great gear.
I mean, if we were Under Armour sponsored, though, it would be like, yes, Under Armour, everything. Old Bay, McCormick.
We'll have to look into the Sagamore gear, though. I did not realize it was performance apparel. That is,
a lot of stuff. We do a couple things with like the league and brands like that, but a big majority of it is still Under Armour t-shirts, and which comparative to what you'll find for some brands, the quality is less. So obviously, the price is a little bit higher, but it is super high quality. So.
Yeah, it's going to last 10 years or more. Like that's kind of worth it. Yeah. And it's cool when brands do that. I just remembered how Willett had done Ebbett hats for a little while. And like, because the distiller would wear Ebbett hats and they ended up kind of doing a partnership together. So cool. And those were really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the cork ones a couple of years back where they did the actual cork with the black on it. I don't know whatever happened to that hat, but
yeah, that one seems like it wouldn't last forever though.
It's one of those I've had over the years. I mean, I wear a lot of hats. Life was not very forgiving on my hairline. So no matter what I've tried. So I've always been a kind of a hat guy. I've probably had, even at home now, probably like 80 hats. And
right.
I've probably lost, I lose more per year than I think I actually have at this point. So
interesting. You should keep them on your head.
I mean, I should.
There.
It's just weird to walk around like 6 or 7 on.
I have I have hair, but I just am lazy. And so there's like, I could do that. I could fix this or whatever. I wash it. I mean, that's already a big step going so far. And haircuts take time. I haven't shaved in like 6 years though.
Although I have 26 haircut credits, so I need to go get a bunch of haircuts.
Yeah.
How does that happen? I'm kind of curious. This is actually a whatnot. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this.
Well, I have a subscription to a place called Hammer and Nails. That's like they do like haircuts and like nail treatments and like all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I only probably go every like few months, but it's a monthly subscription. So like they just pile up, and I've got a bunch of them. They're like, you should have a party and like everyone can get their nails done and stuff. And I'm like,
maybe.
I don't know that I'm going to do that, but like I'll come get my hair cut more.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try every 2 weeks, keep it tight.
Honestly, though, real talk, pedicure every now and then, getting those feet like filed down, massage.
Oh yeah,
doesn't hurt.
That's true.
Nothing against it. I just don't know that I want to host a party for that.
Yeah,
you don't have folks out and do a bro pedicure party. You're not willing to share in that experience.
I'll fly in. Come down from Baltimore. We can do a little Sagamore.
That's true.
Yeah, Sagamore pedicure party.
Start at the crab place you were just talking about, then have some whiskey, and then go get everybody gets their nails done. We'll do it.
It's perfect.
Sprinkle
Old Bay in the water as they're boiling everything. It'll be great. So.
Don't eat my feet.
And Old Bay pedicure. I think we're onto something here. That's a very Maryland thing.
Yes. Turns your skin an interesting orange. Not quite spray tan, but
Yeah.
But hey, it'll taste great with corn. So
exactly.
This just in, Whiskey.fund is now open for all your merch needs. That's right, Robbie. We're hearing reports of hats, sweaters, and t-shirts, as well as a link to join our Discord server. What's a Discord server? Just read the prompter, man. Hit subscribe, leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, and tell your friends about our broadcast. It really does help us reach more people and keeps the show growing. All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
I was going to ask you in terms of like, do you ever do the whole drops to change your flavor profile, all that kind of fun stuff?
If I usually do anything, I'll throw like a small ice cube in or something like that. Just kind of because I do like the fact that as you cool it, especially with non-chilled filtered whiskeys, you'll start to see some of those congeners come together. So
that's a big word for our audience, congeners.
Yeah. So best way to say this is find a good non-chilled filtered, put a lot of ice in it, swirl on the glass. You'll notice it'll get cloudy, and that's all the oils and everything kind of pulling together and essentially freezing.
Yeah. Interesting. I did not know. So there we go. We learned that.
It's a lot of science.
Yes, I do like getting the science aspects. I don't like going out to seek it though, and so I just want to learn it naturally through hanging out and drinking and whatever else.
I like getting it at like a distillery tasting where they tell you some things.
That as well. I mean, this whole thing I learned at the Jack Rose in DC because I used to live around the corner, and that's when like Bill would still be hanging out there, and that's where I got introduced to Willet, which is very funny. The first time I visited that distillery, I was able to pick up a 9-year for $50, as many as I wanted to.
I love when they do that.
Yeah, well, it was like 2008 or something, or no, I don't know. It was a while ago, so that was part of it. Yeah, but I do like when they do some like releases at distillery.
We grabbed one in. I was out there 2019, and they did a 7-year release that day, and it was the lady working behind the counter. She was so adorable. She walked in and we're like, yeah, pretty good. What's today's release? We saw, a couple cars in the parking lot. Like, oh, it's a 7-year. Awesome. She goes, I'm gonna warn you guys, that was kind of expensive. We're like, oh, and she goes, it's $45. And
right.
I look at my buddy I'm with. This at the time we were both sheriff for Camp Run Amok, which is a whiskey camp for bartenders. So we were during the day, we kind of had some downtime while the campers were off doing distillery tours.
Yep.
So this was our thing. We just drive around, hit distilleries that they weren't at because, we wanted to do our own thing. It was just so great the way she said it. And then, of course, next day he sneaks back over. It's like, what do you guys have hidden? At the time, one of our good friends was the mixologist for Will. He was working on property at their little bar and doing all that. And of course, so he pulls him a couple, I think he pulled him like a 21-year or something like that.
Yeah.
And he paid like $200 for it. So, it was nuts. Like how crazy. I mean, he got the bottle back and he was like, yeah, he goes, do I open this or do I sell it for like $2,500?
Right.
We drank half of it that night. So we made the right choice.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Like some tater doesn't need to get it and set it on a shelf for the next 10, 15 years, never touching it. Yeah, it's just a little crazy.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
That was one of the better. I'm not a huge fan of anything over usually 15, 18 years.
Yeah.
That one was pretty solid.
Yeah.
So
worth a shot. Yeah, I'm kind of the same with you. I think 9 is a nice happy spot. 7 to 9 is like kind of good for like bourbons and whatever for me. Pushing sometimes up to 15. Beyond that, they get super woody and they're just like a little much.
You can only taste the barrel.
Yeah. And
what we said, Pappy 23 tastes like a popsicle stick to me. It's one of those things I've never been able to get behind. Pappy 23.
Yeah.
I mean, great brand. I'm not
sure
dissing on the brand at all. What they've done is fantastic. But for me, I'd rather drink 12-year all day than the 23 on that one.
Exactly.
Without question.
Yeah. I'll take 12 at MSRP for sure.
Oh, yeah. If we can find it ever.
Yeah. I used to
we could dream.
I used to get lucky every once in a while. So in Montgomery County, Maryland, they would have like ABC state-run stores, so price control, and they would do lotteries for all the limited release stuff, BTAX, Pappy, whatever. And they allowed you to register as a non-resident. I lived in DC. I could register for their lottery. Now they've changed all of that, but 10 years ago you could do that. And I got lucky. Like every year I'd get something, which was actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I was able to get a couple of Pappies through that. Also, many years ago, actually, at Duran's, which is a super old steakhouse here, the Rat Pack used to visit, yada, yada, yada. And it has that old school kind of...
Didn't take me there?
No, I didn't. Your wife is a vegetarian, and I think we had very limited time for like a couple of meals out. So
yeah, we went to very nice places. I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah, I know.
There must have been a really hard vegetarian meal. Very hard.
Yeah.
I think they put meat in everything. So
Yeah.
They probably have mashed potatoes, I bet.
They do, and they're very good.
Bacon mashed potatoes, phenomenal.
Yeah. You enter, I was to say bacon mashed potatoes. You enter through the kitchen like old school style, kind of feels like Goodfellas sort of thing. Yada, yada, yada. But a local restaurant group bought them out from the second ownership family recently. And they have wonderful restaurants, but you just kind of wonder, I don't know, are you going to make like the old velvet wallpaper too nice now or something?
I don't know if they're going to do a lot of remodels. I think they just see it as an opportunity. And so the group behind it is actually the original Mastro's owners. So the Mastro brothers bought it. So
He doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, so for people that know steakhouses, especially around, well, Mastro's is a U.S. brand now.
Yeah.
I mean, so they've got Ocean Club. All those are all under them. They're in Vegas. You know, I think Landry's bought them like 10 years ago, if I recall. So
Yeah, I was gonna say thought Ocean Club was Landry's, but yeah.
There you go.
So it used to be Mastro's. Now it's Landry's owns them all, but I think they're still labeled as like Mastro's Ocean Club or something like that. So
Well, for
Let's crack
Spotty's
this.
second pour, he's going to have the Sagamore Spirit barrel proof whiskey web and whatnot barrel pick from, I don't even know.
So I need to ask, did you guys meet up with David Rose when you did this? Or
No, we had to do it like through
a third
broker,
party.
basically. So
yeah.
they sent us like 5 samples, something like that, and kind of whittled
It
down.
was three or four, and this was. I had everyone. My son had just been born, and I had everyone, like all the grandparents that were there, try all of them. We all agreed on this one. So
perfect. I love the logoing on it.
Yeah.
So I understand the octopus now. So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, that's this thing. For those who haven't seen it, there you go. Something like that.
block out the light a little bit for it.
Yeah. So the octopus is a constant in our branding. It stems from our previous business of a software consulting
shipshape.io.
Shipshape.io.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not dead, but
Yeah,
anyway.
I've heard of ShipShape actually.
Okay.
Oh no, it's your email. That's why I've heard of it.
That's
why
I
I've
was
heard of it. I'm
gonna say,
like, how do I know this? I'm like, it was your email. Yeah,
you needed some member.js work or something of that nature, and you were seeking it out. Yeah.
it's the whiskey talking now. so.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that iconography just kind of continues on into this because the inception of this,
Ooh,
is hot.
that's delicious. Though.
110 proof. Yeah.
That's delicious. When did you pick this one?
When?
Yeah,
Like 3 years ago, I want to
that's
say.
fantastic.
Yeah, 2022.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
The most fun thing is when I got, what do we have, about like 20 boxes each or whatever? So we ended up getting, I don't know how many bottles, but
Yeah. The
Roughly
hilarious
120
thing
each bout. Yeah.
yeah.
is like you get a whiskey delivered to you, and they're like, oh my God, I've got to like get you to sign. You have to do an ID, whatever. We each get like piles of boxes of whiskey, no signature, just at my house.
Yeah.
Like,
They left them
hilarious.
out front in the driveway.
Oh, wow.
It was like 20 boxes of 6. And yeah, they were just there. And my wife, I was like, okay, I guess I got to pull these into the garage or something. We don't people randomly just grabbing the box. And that was an interesting thing. So at the time when the consultancy was thriving, and we shared it with friends and clients and all of that. So
This is a beautiful choice.
there you go, Robbie. Here it is. Your palate.
I
is
might need you to send me one of these. This is.
This is coming like around the time. You could just take this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is around the time that I was making fun of Robbie for drinking his Sagamore on crushed ice. And I was like, come on, you're not even giving it a chance, bud.
I
You
only
just
used
pour it
crushed
over
ice
like a
at the
slushy.
previous house,
Yeah.
at the Royal Street
fairness-
house.
In fairness, a very popular Baltimore drink is a crush, which is it started out as vodka, triple sec, orange juice, lemon, and a little splash of Sprite over crushed ice. But of course, being a Baltimore brand, we have changed it around many times, and we do a lot with Sagamore with it. Sagamore do like some OJ. Just did for Arizona Cocktail Week, Sagamore OJ sour cherry,
Ooh.
a little bit of lemon and ginger beer, or ginger ale, and it was phenomenal. But there's it's kind of something very on brand for Baltimore to drink it over crushed ice. So
Yeah.
See?
Who knew?
I know things.
you knew without even knowing it. So
Your palate is better than I've given you credit for in the past. How about that? I will say that.
Yeah.
this is there's like some richness, like it's almost like a honey note just like tingling on the backside when you sip it originally. It's
Yeah.
like there's a sweetness to it that I'm trying to figure out the right word for it right now.
Yeah.
But it just coats the tongue. This is honestly like one of the best. This one would be up in the 7.6, 7.7, 7.8 range. I think,
Nice.
so.
Well, there we go. See, and you're going to have one of the rarest, maybe this is rarer than with Sauvignon Blanc, because, it's a Robbie Wagner choice.
I love to get my hands on barrel picks when I can. Like,
Yeah.
just to have a few. I mean, I have the remaining 2 bottles from Century Grand down the street.
Yes.
They did a barrel back when they first opened.
Right.
There was a couple bottles that slipped behind the wall, and I actually have those. So
Oh, that's super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like during COVID, they were one of my regular sources to pick up whiskey because once they closed and their bottle shop opened up the online store, you could get some gems out of there for a great price for a little while. Obviously, again, those days are gone, but
living in Vegas at the time, and so Jason, the original owner of it, is my mentor on the bar side. One of my longest friends. We've friends like over 25 years now. He called me up. He's like, yeah, we're doing some sales. I literally drove down. I was like, what do we got? I got gems that I wouldn't even tell you some of the stuff I got, the price I got it for.
We'll record the next time at Spotty's with a working camera.
Yeah. My house is fun. I've got all the things. I've not just whiskey. I've got, before this role, I worked with a company that featured a lot of mezcal. So like, I've got a lot of really artisanal mezcals.
Oh, nice.
I mean, whiskey was always my first passion, but
yeah,
I'm kind of just a spirits nerd in general.
Yeah.
So,
and out here, I feel like mezcal's a huge thing.
You have to be.
Yeah.
Related, we do want to ask. So, like, if you have a really good whiskey, is it a waste to use it in a cocktail?
Ooh. If you're paying for it, do what you want with it.
That's true.
You bought it.
Yeah.
So I never understood. And this goes back, 20 years ago when I was bartending. You get the guy that would walk in and order like Louis Trey cognac with Coke, and it'd be $300, $250. They're like, I can't believe you'd ruin that. And I'm like, well, the guy's paying for it.
Yeah, maybe he loves it.
Yeah.
When did you move here?
Well, the first time in 2000.
Okay, so you might remember if you remember Mabel's on Main.
Yeah, definitely.
So in Old Town Scouts, I actually ran that bar from mid 2010 to about 2013. Was it? Yeah, whenever we opened Virtu. And so my going away, because ran it for a few years, was my going away gift from the owner was actually a bottle of Pappy Rye.
Oh, nice.
Because this is back when Pappy's was still easy to get. We had 3 of them, which now I think each bottle sells for like $1,500 online or something like that.
Yeah.
When you can find it. And so I took the bottle. I was like, what can we do with this? So it was literally like ripping shots, making Sazeracs, made like a Rye and Coke with it. Like it was just just being stupid with it.
Yeah.
Because
it was free to you.
Yeah, it was free and we could.
Yeah.
And I knew there was another bottle there and I ended up, buying a second bottle off him at that point. And yeah. So that's my belief. Just do it as you want. I mean, if you're going home and you're buying a bottle small batch and you want to drink it with, Kool-Aid, be my guest.
See.
Just, do it responsibly. Don't drink a bottle and then get behind the wheel,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Speaking of behind the wheel, I was going to say, I think it's similar to like what Chuck and I have talked about sometimes is like, classic cars or cars that are like way expensive for whatever reason. They're meant to be driven. You don't buy them and park them in your garage.
Yeah, I hate that.
Like, so I think it's similar. Like all these things that are expensive because they're rare, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't use them and just look at them. Like that's no
engineered
fun.
for a purpose.
Exactly.
And I like to just get behind that purpose. Buy an old car and drive the shit out of it. Buy some cool sneakers and wear them.
Scuff them immediately.
We won't get into the sneaker conversation. That's another conversation for me.
Do you have more sneakers or hats?
Sneakers. No, now hats. I used to have way more sneakers. I one point had probably close to 450 pairs.
Yeah.
Sold them when
What's
I moved
your
back.
go-to? What's your favorite sneaker?
Jordan 1s were always kind of my big one. Pre him going crazy, I did like Yeezys a lot, but
right.
That for some reason at the start of COVID, I was buying so many that they would just pretty much automatically, like I was high enough up in Adidas's points, they would just send them. They'd be like, "Do you want them?" And I knew at that point I would just buy them and half the time just flip them immediately.
Yeah.
But they were always comfortable. And then now I'm like, I don't want to wear them anymore for obvious political reasons.
Right.
Yeah. But Jordan 1s will always be.
Yeah, that's yours. My first pair of Jordans were Jordan 4s. So Jordan 4s in 8th grade, first time around. So that's why I was really dug those.
Fair.
I liked 5s. I had some 5s and 6s, and then I kind of
the
phased out of
6s
it.
were to me still like that was my very first pair. I think I was 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah.
And I had the black. It was like those black ones with the red. And then they did the 7s were the Olympic ones. So yeah, it had to be the 6.
Yep.
God, I'm sad. It's crazy that we're going.
Robbie has no idea what you're talking about
This
because
is
he
a
wasn't
what- I have-
born until.
Well, I've never
Well,
owned a
please.
pair of Jordans, but I have several Nikes. I collect the what are they even called?
Kill shots?
Yeah, kill shots. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the kill shots, like until recently, they only had the like blue and maybe green sometimes. And like all the other ones were like they did a one-off with Todd Snyder and you could get maroon and they did like, but now Nike just fucking sells them all. And I'm like,
Yep.
Come on, guys. Like I collected these for years and now you just sell them all.
Yeah, there's no, well,
This
there you
was
go.
the most recent CEO. This was actually a big issue with him. Was he kind of? I'm trying to remember which shoe it was. It was an Air Force One. It was a certain colorway though. No, it was the Pandas. I was incorrect. It was the Jordan 1 Pandas, and they did them in low and high. And I think they even did the SBs with them, if I recall. But he flooded. It was supposed to be one of their like sneaker releases. Flooded the market with them.
Right.
And he was like, well, this, we'll say they're rare, but they're not. And everybody realized their mother had a pair.
Yep.
And it just kind of killed a lot of credibility for him. And I mean, to this day, if it was pre 2020,
Yeah.
like they're still up there, but modern stuff, I mean,
There's a lot.
even now, like, for me growing up, when you want to combine two of my favorite things in the world, the SB Wu-Tangs, that was pre.
And they just re-released those.
They did. That was the holy grail. I mean, the true rumor was like there's 99 pairs total made.
Yep.
People say 36, and the members of the Wu-Tang Clan all got them.
Yeah.
When they re-released, so the day they did the shock drop, I was that vulturish for it that I actually saw the shock drop hit.
Yep.
And got them during that initial shock drop. So got them for, normal price. But I mean, weeks later, I was looking online because I was like, maybe I'll buy a second pair so I can keep one and then just beat the hell out of another pair.
Sure.
And they weren't that bad. It had only gone up maybe $100, which for a shoe that was considered, the originals are literally $50,000 a pair.
Oh my gosh, that's
crazy. It made no sense.
I think it's similar to the way whiskey has gone. Like, everything became allocated, and then whiskey brands were like, hey, you mean I can sell this for a ton of fucking money? Yeah. So they started doing that. I can just
make less and make and charge more money? That's insane.
Yeah. So it got bad.
Yeah. That's the whole thing about
we can do an off-camera whiskey talk one day. Just go deep into some of those allocated ones because there's some shuffling going around with some of those.
Interesting. Yeah, there's plenty of backroom deals, I imagine, and all of that kind of stuff. And then the plebes
still can't get over this. This is honestly like,
I like it. I love.
If I'm taking that bottle, you're keeping the Manhattan
deal
without question.
Fair trade. All right, I'm down with it. Yeah, because
I can send you another box, Chuck, if you need one.
yeah, or we'll figure it out. Well, maybe you send one down to Miami or something.
Yeah,
and then real secret friends in Miami can get this 7-8.
Like people that invite me to their house party. Not Dax.
Not Dax. Sorry, not Dax.
I don't know what it is, but I like it.
Yeah, there's a whole whatever.
The light.
Oh my gosh, breaking the set. This guy is cut off. He's got to drive home and get to the gym. I don't think it's going to happen.
Probably not. We'll see.
I'm supposed to work more today, so I understand.
I've still got to work more. I'm trying to take it a little. Tomorrow's my birthday, actually, so I'm trying not to go too hard today.
Early birthday, because tomorrow will be for real.
Yeah. So the idea was not to wake up super early to go to the gym. I was going to try to sneak it in and do midday tomorrow.
Yeah.
After calls and all that fun stuff. So
working with those East Coasters, you got to get it done early. I know how.
Gotta love daylight savings swap again.
Oh, that again. It's like we are both the best and the worst. I say this that. Daylight savings is stupid. I wish we would all stop. But while it's happening...
Clarifying. Daylight savings is correct.
Oh.
It should be permanent daylight savings everywhere and it should never change.
Right. Pick the lane and stick with it. No.
We need to fall on the mountain, I think. Like that,
I think so, because we align with all of the mountain. It's just the problem that we decide not to move. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Are we California or are we...
This whole week's been texts at like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, and they're thinking it's 9 a.m. their time, and I'm used to getting them, but now it's like, my first call Monday morning was 6 a.m.
Yeah,
with Italy.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, right, because that's a 9-hour difference.
So
now.
For them it was end of day. It was 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so it's like the latest they can go for you.
So they were, I understand that one, and we do it. We're planning North America's 50 best, so it's not a big thing. It's for the next month and a half. It's gonna be once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm happy to be your man on the ground over in Italy. You tell me how I can help. I can, make that. I'm willing to sacrifice.
I might just have you show up to the corporate offices wearing a Sagamore t-shirt.
As you. And I'll be like,
he'll go there and go, allora.
Allora. That's my favorite Italian word. Allora. Yeah. Yeah. And my son likes andiamo.
Andiamo's a great one.
Andiamo. So. Yeah, that's about the extent of what I know, sadly enough. My wife speaks. We have lots of friends there. And when I'm visiting, they all want to speak English. So it's just like, I don't know.
I studied for a while. So my dad's family was actually originally from Italy, from Reggio, which is Calabria, the actual port city between Italy and Sicily. Like from the port, you see Messina and the whole, it's beautiful. But
where the chilies are from.
Yes. Where the chilies are from.
Yeah, Calabrian chilies, yes.
That's 100% true. I'm like, I got thrown off for a second. I'm like, where are the chilies? Like, like a band or something like that. Not the pepper.
No, he means the burgers. He loves that place.
Yeah, I'm like,
Chili's
Calabrian, Calabrian grill.
The Calabrian chili pastas, like anything with that in it is amazing.
Yeah.
The whole point of the story was I started studying Italian, plans on going over, and then stopped, and then got this role, and quickly learned how beneficial it would be to pick it back up. But the problem is, after 3 years of not studying it, I'm kind of lost as to where I laid. I still remember parts of it, but I'm kind of stuck in this like gray area where I'm like, okay, I know this is how this is supposed to, I almost need to just reset everything and just start back.
Yeah.
I could probably flow through the basics real quick.
Just watch Calcio in Italian and you can start to pick up some things. Yeah.
Did that in
Como
high
se
school.
dice, yeah, whatever.
Spanish with Plaza Sesamo in high school.
Nice.
Teacher was big on Sesame Street. And I'm like, this sounds crazy. He goes, works for 3-year-olds. And I'm like,
You
wasn't
know what?
wrong.
Maybe, yeah.
he wasn't wrong.
Plaza Sesamo.
Plaza
Yeah.
Sesamo.
Yeah, it's tough because when you're actually in Italy and you try to speak Italian and you're not doing a good job, they're like, please just speak English. And I'm like, but I'm trying. Like,
Yeah, my wife even experienced that, being able to speak, and she didn't pronounce. We were in a pizza shop trying to get some pizzas, and I think she said like, due diavola, pizza diavola or whatever, and they were like, and then they were like, oh, diavola, see, it was like diavola,
like the
diavola,
same exact
Diavola.
word. Yeah.
diavola,
Diavola.
yeah.
I remember
Anyway,
that. That's
yeah,
great.
that's a.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of mad. So one of my best friends lives 4 doors down from me. It's actually, he's the Patron rep out here,
Oh,
but he's also Italian born, one of the most famous flair bartenders on the planet. There's a documentary coming out, and he's one of the stars of. His name's Dario, though, and I try to practice with him, and he just makes fun of me the whole time.
Yeah.
It actually sucks.
and you're like, that doesn't encourage someone
No.
to try. Like,
no, I just
dude,
wanna-
whatever.
And we have a mutual friend who is was actually our global whiskey manager. He's based out of Italy, Alessandro, and I was telling Alessandro about it. He was just laughing because he knew. He's like, yeah, Dario's being mean for fun. Like,
Yeah, it's just giving you
ciao
steak.
bene. He'd always like say the simple words and try to coach me through it. I'm like, oh, thank you, Alessandro.
Yeah,
Appreciate
all you
that.
got to do is say ciao, ciao, yes, ciao, no, ciao, bye, ciao, hi, ciao, ciao, ciao. Yeah. And
Ciao,
you're good to
ciao
go.
is the greatest word ever created.
Yeah, that's a good
50
one.
things in one.
Except for allora.
Allora.
Yeah,
Allora.
that one is fun.
Allora.
There is a restaurant in Manhattan called Allora that I passed when I was up there, like, I don't know, a few months ago. And I was like, this is hilarious. I sent a picture to my friends that we went to Italy with. So
No, you didn't send it to me.
Andiamo out here. So
Yeah, I was
So,
gonna say the
Andiamo.
we have Andiamo as a pizza place that actually got really highly rated by Dave Portnoy.
They won a James Beard.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and the whole one bite pizza guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's Barstool Sports, but
Oh,
he rated
he's
it like the highest one
perfect
here.
pizza critic.
Yeah.
Very
the
good.
Phoenix,
palate.
the Phoenix Pizza Game's pretty good, though. I mean, between that, Trevor's,
Yeah,
I mean, Bianco, the legend himself.
yeah, we've got decent pizza. Dave didn't give us great overall. Everything was under 8s, but still pretty good. But he wants New York style, like giant floppy whatever bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, he gave Trevor's what 8.4
I don't. Did he?
because
I don't-
they actually
I
have
know
it on
they-
their menu. They go, it's closer to it was either 8.3 or 8.4. It's closer to 8.4, and you get a large cheese pizza and 2 high noons,
Nice.
and that's the one right down the street.
Oh,
I like
yeah,
that.
I've been there.
Yeah.
and it is good. He went to LGO
Let's be
too.
real, though.
What?
The best pizza is Detroit pizza.
I like Detroit pizza
I'm just gonna look away from the camera.
as its own thing, though. Well, see, I'm like,
It doesn't have
I
to
like
be in
Napolitana
Detroit per
style.
se, but
no,
the
we have a
styles.
good place here downtown on Central. Begins with F.
I thought that closed down.
I don't think so. The one that's right next to Postino, that place, and like, it's in the same building as the taco place too.
I'm blanking on this one.
Yeah, well,
Downtown
no,
Phoenix, in downtown Phoenix.
yeah, right on Central, north of Camelback.
Oh! I'm thinking of. I was thinking of downtown, not uptown.
Yeah, sorry.
Are you talking? You're not. I was thinking Luminali's, but I know that's Chicago style.
No, yeah. That's a pie, by the way. It's not
Yeah.
even a pizza. I don't count it. It's a meaty
Yeah,
pie.
Chicago
Detroit's not
style
bad.
is not
I'm trying to-
pizza.
Chicago style,
What is the
not
name of that?
good. Detroit style, good. Like, yeah, I mean, on its own. And there's a place here that actually does, it's called Flyby, and they do a Detroit style with pineapple. And they do it right, though,
Oh.
like with like a meaty sausage and a little spice. And so, yeah, I'm someone who says pineapple is fine on pizza,
I tend to agree. I get yelled at a lot about that, but
Yeah.
I
as we all will.
I feel in the right situation.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite hangover foods is actually, and this was probably during college, a pretty drunk moment where I was like, this just sounds stupid. Let's make something fun. But it was sausage, pineapple, and onion.
Yeah. I
That
think it's
combo is
Perfect.
phenomenal on a
I
pizza.
think it's perfect. I think
Yeah.
that's amazing. The only thing I'd add to that is a little spice.
Yeah.
Even if I just did like some Frank's hot sauce,
Yeah.
that kind of gives it a little,
Oh,
that
no.
rounds it.
You
for
got to
me.
go hot honey, man. That's the
Hot
way to
honey's
go.
good
Honey's
too.
good.
Hot honey just on cheese is great for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right. So, if you were not in the whiskey business, what other career would you choose?
Oh, great question. This has definitely made me rethink this a lot because I realized I do enjoy marketing a ton now.
Hmm.
Being more on the marketing side of it and understanding that. I mean, originally I wanted to be an architect. Well, actually,
Jerry, You
when we go
always
back to
have.
being a kid, I wanted to be president of the United States.
Right. Well,
I'm more than happy to step up now.
it's still on the
if needed,
cards. Yeah.
I mean, at this point now, I've got just as good a resume as anybody. So let's roll.
Yeah.
Let's make America drink whiskey again. So,
America's spirit. It is America's spirit.
but yeah, architecture was always a big dream. Then I kind of realized that until you get to a certain level, you don't make any money at all.
For sure. Yeah.
And actually, I was working in kitchen, so I originally thought I was going to end up as a chef. At the time I was going to school, and by happenstance, it was like a busy Friday night. I was at this point worked up pretty well. It was old spot in North Scottsdale, and because it was busy, the chef was there. He's like, "Hey, they don't have a bar back. Do you mind filling in for the night?" I was 19 at the time. Jump back there, and I made more money in tips that night than I made in like 2 weeks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that pretty much changed everything. I like talking to people way more. I can make way more money.
Yeah.
So I still enjoy cooking, but I mean, I honestly, God, change careers.
Yeah, but everything's on the table. You don't have to have the
you
skill.
can just
you don't
get
have
a
to
skill.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a spy for the CIA or something like that. Just
Nice.
something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I get to travel the world and like potentially like just shoot
And murder
guys
people?
for fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneak up
They're
behind.
bad people, of course.
Only when they
Yeah.
deserve it.
I'm late to the video game on this. I finally, for downtime, bought myself a PS5
Nice.
and off their premium package, got the Ghost of Tsushima, which I guess was like one of the highest rated games ever on the unit. So I downloaded and played it. My downtime here or there. But the fact that I could run around just assassinating people with a sword, I was like, this is one of the most fun games I've ever played.
That does sound fun.
I don't get deep into video games. That one game, I was like trapped though. I'm like,
Nice.
all right,
There's I don't know what systems it's all for, but there's a game called Dishonored. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's all about like assassinating people is the whole thing. You can either assassinate them or like put them to sleep and like hide them. Like you can choose how lethal you want to be, but it's all about being stealthy. It's pretty fun.
You can be a pacifist. You can be like, I'm going to put you to sleep, but I'm still going to do what I got to do. See, that's kind of a good way to do it too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You have this moral dilemma.
Like this person didn't hurt me. They're not coming at me with like in the Tsushima game, like they're coming at me with like a fire cannon blowing like magic gunpowder at me. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's me or you. So, yeah.
if they're just hanging out, I can put them to sleep. Just put them to sleep,
Yeah. Yeah, I would always do the stealthy way, but then like if someone saw me, I would just kill everyone. Like
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at that point, you can't have witnesses. We know how this goes.
Take them all out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. All right. On that note, what do you want to plug before we end? Things about Sagamore or
Yeah, no, so I
what can
think-
we find?
Your new podcast?
Yeah.
No.
My new podcast, All Things Sagamore is what it's called. It's brought to you by
NorlandGlass.com.
NorlandGlass.com.
Yes.
Thank you, Norland Glass. You didn't know you're my sponsor yet. I think the exciting stuff with Sagamore is, if you're in Baltimore, come by the distillery. We have a great gift shop where we sell those fantastic Under Armour shirts. We do tastings, all that, live music during the summer with our whiskey on the waterfront. This year is a huge year for us because we will be almost 100% Maryland made across the board by the end of this year. We've got a couple barrels. But when I mean a couple, I literally mean like a handful of double oak that might have a little bit of MGP juice still in them. So we're at a point that we are almost transitioned out of that. We will have the 10-year. That one will still be an MGP release. So that's the 10-year. Yeah. That'll come out later this year. I think we're going to shoot for August. So we really won't see it on shelves till October. That's kind of our new thing is we're moving that way. So yeah, drink up, grab the whole core lineup. The small batch is great if you want something to make cocktails with. Double oak for your bourbon drinkers. That I should have brought the double oak for you to try. If you haven't had it, double oak is the bourbon drinkers one to me.
Interesting.
And then, like I said, that cask drink's about ready to be 123 proof. So
yeah, strap
bring
in.
the whole family together. That's what I like to say.
1 ounce each, half ounce for kids.
You drink that one, get ready to fight your shadows. It's going to be fun. So
Nice.
give us all the support and love. We'll, feel free to reach out. Instagram, The Only Spotty, THE, Only Spotty, SPOTTY. If you ever have a question, be more than happy to answer it for you. And yeah.
Listen,
That's
if
it.
they can't spell that, then they don't deserve
Spotty
your...
gets spelled wrong way more than a lot of people go SPOTTIE. So it's a Y, not an IE.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever
I can
seen
see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Spotty the Scotty. I don't know. All right. So before it devolves any further, wind us out.
Would you like to there we go.
Do, 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 do.
You've been watching Whiskey Web and Whatnot, recorded in front of a live studio audience.
What the fuck are you talking about, Chuck?
Enjoyed the show? Subscribe.
People don't pay attention to these, right?
Head to whiskey.fun for merch and to join our Discord server.
I'm serious. It's like 2% of people who actually click these links.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about the show.
All right, dude, I'm out of here.
Still got it.